Hey everybody, it's WB. I hope your new year is off to a good start. Looks like things are heading in the right direction. It looks like it might be a good year for the country. If it keeps on its current path, it might actually survive another decade or so. But wanted to pick back up today where I left off with the Palmetto State Armory AK-47, the PSAK 47. This would be the one in question. That's what it looks like as of today. But on the last video, I made it on the day that I brought the gun home. The very same day I picked it up, I was trying out some different magazines. I wanted to check the variety of magazines that it would take, what the fit issues with loose fits or wobbling, and I made a quick video on the problem that I had with it. It seemed like about half of the magazines that I had would not latch into place. Primarily the steel surplus magazines, again, the majority of those that I had would not fit in there. I believe off with the problems I was having with the magazines fitting. What it didn't show was what happened shortly afterwards was that the pin that holds the magazine catch in place completely came loose and basically fell out. And it's spring loaded in there, so it may not seem like a big deal, but it's actually quite a pain in the ass to try to fix that when the pin comes out. It's not there's not anything that really holds it in there. It has to be hammered and peened in so that it will stay in place. And again, I was pretty disappointed that that thing disassembled basically a brand new gun. The dents on the video that I posted about it, there were some really great suggestions that took heed of. Some of the suggestions involved both basically they all involved removing material. One suggestion was to trim down the upper end of the mag catch itself, and the other comments were suggesting maybe some material inside of the back of the magazine well itself on the gun. I was hesitant to really try either of those. I didn't want to start grinding away on the gun for fear of voiding the warranty. I was considering sending it back to them to fix that the magazine catch pin that had come out, but was hesitant to do that for fear that they could fix it and send it right back to me, and the same thing could happen again. And again, it's not something you can easily fix on your own unless you kind of have the know-how and the tools to do that. So again, referring to the comments that were posted under the previous video, came across some pretty interesting suggestions. So I went ahead and gave one of them a try. Actually, I got a couple, and it kind of solves the issue with the mag catch pin having to be peened in. It basically gives you a kind of a drop-in way to secure the mag catch with hardware that you basically just can screw into place. As an AK owner, it's good to have those on hand just in case of a scenario like mine where it becomes disassembled. It's never happened before, but it did happen on this brand new gun. So anyway, I went ahead and ordered a couple of little replacement pins just to have on hand. Again, should that problem ever come up again. But they also had a couple of other things that essentially improve on this little magazine catch ergonomically, I guess you'd say. So I was hoping that just ordering the new part, and what I ordered is called the I've got their website pulled up here. Let me see what they actually call this thing here. Yeah, they call this the KGB latch, which stands for Kalashnikov Galil-based latch. Basically, what is different on this one is it has some material that kind of kicks off to the side here. I don't know if you can see that, but rather than the magazine catch that just goes straight down and you hit it from the bottom, this one has material off like a little a wedge off to the side, where the theory is that you can keep your hand on the pistol grip and disengage the magazine using just your index finger, basically, which it works okay on some of the magazines that are a little stickier. My finger's just not quite long enough to work that reliably every time, and you do have to kind of tuck it in under your arm there to do it. But it works all right. It works well enough. You can still hit it with your opposing thumb as well. So that's what I ordered, and I was hoping that maybe that would solve not only the issue I had with the pin falling out, but also with the magazines fitting in a little bit better. I was hoping I wouldn't have to mess with that too much, but it turns out that the same solution is what I applied. Again, I didn't want to start grinding away on the gun for fear of voiding the warranty, even the mag catch. I was hesitant to do that on. I tried one of the suggestions and it seemed to work, so I didn't have to go to the second suggestion of taking material from inside the magazine well. So basically I just ground the top edge of the mag catch down a little bit. I actually have a wheel grinder, which made it a breeze. It might have been a little harder to try to file it down. So basically, again, one pass, not one pass, but one little session on the wheel grinder got it to where they would almost latch in. So I went back, cleaned it up one more time, and basically at this point all my magazines fit in nicely. So that was a good solution. I didn't have to grind on the original part, which I held on to just in case I did have to send the gun back to them. But at this point, I'm really satisfied. Again, the concern that I have, once again, all the magazines that I have, including the ones that were reluctant to fit before, primarily the Steel Surplus, the Tapco mags, I guess the ones that had a thicker release or latch on the back. But anyway, very pleased with it. Again, the only concern I really have is that it does rely on the Loctite to work. So, you know, it's always a possibility that can get messed up, but easy enough to fix. Much easier than hammering and peening another pin back in there. But I got to say, at this point, this thing's really growing on me. The way I have it configured right now is extremely lightweight and compact, and really liking the look and feel of it at this point. I am trying out a buffer tube here. This is a polymer one piece. You do see the Mission First minimalist stock itself, but again, the buffer tube is a Mako product. It is polymer. It is very lightweight. I don't think it's necessarily the sturdiest option that you could possibly get. I don't know that it would stand up to a lot of rough use or punishment, but as far as lightweight and the ergonomics of it, I really like as well. The difference being that it allows you to actually slide the stock all the way in. So it actually goes above the tang to some extent. Basically, the buffer tube kind of surrounds the tang, if you will, and it does allow you to close the stock up as far as it'll go, which makes it really compact. Again, it's very lightweight, but there's enough tube here to, you know, I kind of like it in the compact form, but even for a fairly large shooter, I mean, that's a lot of tube there to fully extend that thing, if that's what you need. Again, assuming that holds up well, I'm really liking the look and feel of this right now. During the same time period, I picked up another addition to the collection. This would be a Molot Vepr, and basically this is primarily a Russian gun. Again, the Palmetto State PSAK 47 is touted as an all-American AK-47. Few more of those entering the marketplace these days. The Palmetto State did run through the AK Operator Union ringer and made it through their 5,000 round testing, which is kind of a benchmark and a pretty good sign. So I do have high hopes for that one. Now they recently run a Russian Molot Vepr through their testing as well. The one that they had was 7.62. This one is 5.45. Obviously a difference in the caliber, but still has the thick barrel and receiver, RPK style receiver and barrel. I thought it'd be interesting to compare the two right out of the box. Picked them up again at about the same time, so just want to take them out of the box, take them to the range, and see if they're sighted in. Just see how they run compared to one another. Just thought that would be an interesting comparison. The Russian versus the American versions of the AK-47 and 74 as well in this case. But